So the levels in which the currencies are expected to swing in this week, Euro could swing from the 1.07 to 1.11 area, and GBP from the 1.2375 to 1.2775 area. And the current highs and lows and the highs are indicated below, and USDN could be trading in the range of 112.50 to 116.25. Then CHF could trade around 98.25 to 1.0050 area. Canadian dollar from 1.31 to 1.3375. In Australian dollar from 0.7675 to 0.7925 area. So these are all the range in which the currencies are expected to swing in the market. So watch for such quick dips to buy and wait for the quick rise to book profit in the market. We'll come to that other market reading now. I noted down the initial lows and the highs in all the four majors and two commodity pairs. Euro formed the low 1.0734 and high is 1.0763. They did not breach the low, but they breached the high and then holding around that by only 2 pips, but still holding around. In the case of GBP, 1.2382 is the low. They just breached it by 1 pip, and 1.2395 as the initial high. They breached the high by 1 pip. So they made a brief downward stop and for 1 pip or a false move, and then started gaining the level, and then breached the high also by 1 pip and holding. So they are increasing the spread between the low and the high because it's hardly about 15 pips. So after increasing the spread between high and low, and also to handle Euro GBP at the lower level, they will again start gaining Euro first and followed by that of GBP. As a result, Euro GBP cross will go up. Then in the case of Yen, 112.48 is the low, 112.75 is the high. They are not breached the low or the high. I just made a mistake. $112.75 is the high. Then in the case of CHF, 0.9959 is the low, 0.9986 is the high. They are not breached the low or the high. In Canadian dollar, 1.3321 is the low. They just breached the low, 3316. They have gone to 1.3353 is the high. They are not reached near the high. So here it indicates that they have breached the low and staying below. As you know that the commodity pairs lead the rally and lag behind, so they just started acting on that of the commodity pairs to start with. So see, Canadian dollar has breached the initial low and staying below that. If it stays for 30 minutes, then it will continue to make a downward move. Then Australian dollar, 76.93 is the low, 76.25 is the high. They just breached the high and went up to 77.27 and holding around 77.26. Just holding above that of the initial high. So both in the case of Canadian dollar and Australian dollar, they started making the USD weakening move. So once you come across the spread between the high and the low becomes more than 40 pips, you can think of taking position in those currencies and follow the main forecast and do the market trading, and then understand what the players are trying to do in the market. And whenever you come across quick moves, understand they are all false moves. Intentional move will be the slow move. Whenever they make slowly gaining move pip by pip or losing move by pip, then you try to take the positions accordingly. in a gaining move, try to take a buy and wait calmly for the rise to happen. And by late that particular session, you can book profit. Whenever they are making a slide and they breach the low and stay below for more than 30 minutes, then try to take a sell and keep the hedge order to limit the risk. Then when they make further downward slide, slowly pip by pip, and calmly keep stop at entry and remove the hedge order and wait for them to slowly come down for 2 sessions and the start of the 3rd session. Because we know that whenever they make such moves, it is intentional move. So 2 sessions, they will make a similar move, and the 3rd session, they will reverse. So before the reverse, you can book profit. Similarly, in the case of Australian dollar, they just breached the initial high and staying above. If they are not coming below that for 2 hours, then you can take a buy and then straight they will gain the levels. Forgot any question or you want to have any clarification, then ask me in the question answer window. I am willing to answer those questions. Now I recommend the trade calls. So near that of the low, one can take the buy with a hedge order, and probably you may not be able to get that immediately the low to be set. So wait for the late session, and during that of the gap time and the session start time, whenever they are making a small dip, then try to take the buy in the middle level. Then they will start gaining it during that of the European session, book profit during the late European or the early US session. Afterwards, they are expected to make the slide.